Okay, people, they've got polls out there that are showing that Biden's support is waning, Trump's is building. Simply because of the differences between how Trump runs his campaign and Biden runs his. Now, I want you to ask yourselves, would you rather have a candidate, a president, a politician leader who cares about your health and doesn't request you to do anything to endanger your own life? Or would you rather have a candidate, a president, a leader who calls you out, encourages you to gather in large groups, knowing full well several of those large groups have gotten your people infected with a deadly virus and killed some of them? I'm sorry, people, but if you're going by the difference between whether or not Biden is out there knocking on everybody's door and exposing everybody to COVID, and whether or not he's holding these big old let's go to the circus tent rallies and exposing everybody to COVID, you've got your priorities screwed up. I want a president that's going to protect the people. If that means he cannot hold public rallies, well, so be it. At least I know he's doing it to protect you and me. If that means that when he does hold a rally, there's only a few people in that rally and the seats are set 6 feet apart, so be it. At least we know he's protecting you and me. But you take a look at what Trump even did on the White House lawn on his unlawful campaign thing, on the RNC campaign thing. And people, over 1,000 people, jam-packed in there, shoulder to shoulder, no masks. Just like what he did in Tulsa. We know what happened there. One of Trump's own men died from it. I'm going to show you how much he cares. He has one of his own people die from his reckless behavior because his supporter, his base wants them to. Because his base can care less. They're all out there thinking, did you see Joe over there? He got COVID and ended up in the hospital and died. He ain't touching me, man. And that's what they're thinking. You want to follow them down that road? Are you really that heartless? You want to follow them down that road? You are truly heartless enough to give a shit less about your fellow man and whether or not they're going to catch a deadly virus just so that you can stand in a circus crowd to clap on Trump. Turn around and clap the person next to you too, because it might be the last hurrah they get in this world. And what Joe Biden is doing is right. He's reaching out to you through social media. He's reaching out to you in every way that he can without endangering your life and without asking you to endanger your life. That's a good leader. That's an excellent leader. He's also a leader that when he gets in office, he's going to make sure the testing is there so that we can get the country open. If we've got the testing, we can open up. Not if we slow down the testing the way Trump wants to. Because we're not going to find the people who are asymptomatic. Not by pressuring the CDC to do what he wants them to do, but by listening to the CDC on what the science tells them to do. Because at this moment in time, if they came out with a vaccine, I ain't going no fucking place near it. I'm not. Why? Because I cannot be guaranteed that Trump did not force the CDC to put a virus out there, vaccine out there sooner than it should have been put out there that may start killing people. How many times have we had medications that went around the steps that needed to be gone through just to have that medication end up killing people? I can remember a certain diet medication that killed my stepdad. Gave him a heart attack. Oh, did you forget about that one? How many other ones are out there? That's just one out of thousands and hundreds of thousands and hundreds of thousands and thousands of thousands. And Lord knows how many medications out there that we've had that are over the counter and by prescription that have caused problems because they shortcutted the steps to try and get the medication out quicker. And people have ended up with life-altering conditions that they'll never get rid of or ended up dead. Is that what we want? I know. Now, do you want a president that's going to take care of your health and do what's right for your health? Or do you want one that's going to stand up there, be your circus clown, and ask you to endanger your own life so that he can do his circus act? So he can pull out the 100 clowns from his little clown car. I don't want no damn ass clown. And those of you who do, you've been watching too much of this Disney on Ice crap. I think it's time you get off the Disney on Ice and start looking at life. You got your head stuck in the wrong place. The wrong place. And you're listening to the wrong things. This virus is deadly. It has already killed over 180,000 people. And the number can very well be way higher than what is reported. There's very little evidence it could be lower. Because if you take a look at deaths between 1 year and the other, and you take a look that 30% of the deaths are unaccounted for. And then you take a look at the fact of the matter that deaths by vehicles are lower. Deaths and accidents are lower. Heart attacks in people who are under the normal age of a heart attack has increased. And these people were marked as heart attack victims, when in fact they could have been a COVID victim. Because that is one of the things COVID causes. Stroke victims that have had stroke way too young for what is the average stroke person. They weren't marked as COVID. They were marked as stroke. And COVID causes strokes. But oh no, I did it. I went and did it. I brought up the numbers. So now we're going to have them idiots out there, but they don't have the numbers right. Boy, I'm sure glad the people in the Middle Ages were a hell of a lot smarter than you. Because they had absolutely freaking no clue how many people were infected in their country. They had absolutely no clue how many people had died in their country, let alone in their state or in the world. But they still recognized there was a deadly virus there. And it was killing people. And they needed to find a way to protect themselves. So they were wearing masks with posies inside to lessen the stench of all the dead laying around them. They were burning fires in their house and creating smoke on purpose because they found people who did that. Didn't know why. They just knew that people who had the more smoke in their house were the people who had less chances of catching this virus. Didn't know it's because it chased off the rats that chased off the fleas that infected the human beings. Whoa. Miracle of miracles, huh? How that works. They didn't know why it was working. They just knew it worked. Oh, wow. Same thing with the 1918 flu. They didn't know how many people were dying. Phone service was not widespread. It was very, very sporadic. And people in towns that had little to no phone service were out there doing everything they could to protect themselves when that virus came to their town. They didn't know how many were infected in their town. They had no fucking clue. Didn't know how many were infected in their county. Had no fucking clue. Didn't know how many was infected in their state. Had no freaking clue. Didn't know how many was infected in the nation. They had no clue. All they knew is what worked to stop the virus, wearing a mask. And they did it. Now we come up to the 20th century, 21st century, and we got a bunch of idiots that are way freaking more stupid than the more primitive people of the Middle Ages and of 1918. And yes, they were more primitive. They were less learned. But yet they knew more than you. They weren't out there hollering, oh, but the numbers aren't right, so let's not do this measure. They were out there doing whatever was needed to be done to protect themselves and their community. But you're way too selfish for that. You're way too stupid if you're going to vote for Trump simply because of the way he's handling the pandemic compared to the way Biden is. Simply because of the way Trump is running his campaign compared to the way Biden is. Because to me, the only contrast between the two is which one of them is more stupid and which one of them is more willing to be able to put your life online. Which candidate is more willing to put your life online? Is it the one that is encouraging the proper measures to be able to keep you safe? Or is it the one that's holding great big old rallies, sitting people side by side and not asking them to wear masks as they should? I'll take Biden any old day. Because at least he cares about me. And he don't even know me. I'll take him in a million years over a candidate that shows absolutely no concern for my life, for his need for a political stunt, a rally, a circus show, a carnival, whatever you want to call it. Because at least I know Joe cares about me. Can't say the same about Trump. He didn't even care about Herman Cain. He could care less. Because if he cared at all, at the very, very least, he'd make sure that every person in his campaign rallies was social distancing. At the very least, he would make it mandatory for the masks. But he's not doing either one. And he'd do it in the honor of Herman Cain. But he's not doing it now, is he? You tell him, Mickey. You tell him that Trump just does not care about you. He'll watch you die. Yeah, you show him your ass. You show Trump your ass. That's what he deserves, huh? Biden will save you. Not like some angel coming out of the tree either. Or out of the sky. No. Biden's going to save you with some common sense and science. And he's going to save you with the compassion he has for you. Trump is going to kill you with his selfishness, his ignorance to the science, and his unwillingness to follow common sense. So, you know, you want to be stupid and die? Be my guest. That just means you won't be around November 3rd, now will ya? I'm not going to rejoice in your death, but I'm also not going to be sad. Neither way. Because in my book, you got what you wanted. It just so happened what you wanted ended up not giving Trump what he wanted. So long, say la vie. See you on the other side. I'll wave at you while I'm headed up to heaven. You sure would like a little wave down there, wouldn't you? It's going to be awfully hot, so I'd try to make sure I was wearing at least a Speedo when I died. Because I'm not sure if there's water down there. I think it's all just lava. Have fun. Oh, and after you're gone, can you somehow get a message back up here and tell me actually if the devil does have horns? Me and a friend are having an argument about that because Satan is a fallen angel. So to me that said he'd have wings. He may have lost his halo, but that doesn't mean he has horns. And my friend is saying that his wings were burned off of him, and he grew horns that knocked the halo off. So, hey, can you tell me, please? Thanks.